There are several steps we're going to take to shearing a sheep. The reason for shearing these sheep is for them to look better and smoother and more expressive in the show ring. When that judge is handling them, evaluating them, they're going to handle smoother and be more presentable. When we start the shearing process, we're going to start at the base of his shoulder, moving all the way up to the top of his blade and getting all the wool off of his neck. As we finish shearing the shoulder of this sheep and up the neck, we proceed on to shearing the rest of the body. As you move into the body of this sheep, you're going to start at the top of the shoulder, shear all the way down his back, down his sides, and then you can clean up his belly. Once you've finished shearing the front end of the sheep and moved your way back across the sides and down his back, there's always a couple areas left that you need to shear, one being up here underneath the chest floor and the other being back here on the hind quarter. I encourage people to always have some assistance as you're trying to shear a sheep, just in case you get into a bind and it's hard to get this area. We like to extend this leg up as we shear underneath the chest floor. As you move around to the back side of this sheep and you see the rear view, you're going to have some wool to clean up around this hind quarter. Our personal preference is to go in here and lay these clippers in and kind of come back up in an upward position. Once you've finished shearing the body of this sheep, you've obviously got a couple of places left on the sheep that have to pay attention to some detail. You've got a little wool on the forearm and you've got a little wool back here above the hock. Indefinitely, we will take all of that off. I like to leave a little bit of it at the time, so it gives me something to blend into later. Now that we've sheared both sides of the sheep, this is one of the more difficult areas to shear. I encourage you to have some assistance whenever you get ready to do this. The idea is to lift them up from the chest, and you can either do it by hand or you can do it with your knee, but you want to extend them out in this area to tighten that skin up. Therefore, you're less likely to have any nicks or cuts around the wrinkles of their neck. Now that we have sheared off the entire sheep once, the next step to our process is to mix up a little bit of brightening shampoo with some water in a bucket and brush that all over the sheep. We will then in turn around and blow every bit of those suds out. The reason for that is it's going to help brighten that wool. It's also going to help take any matted wool that might be against the body and lift it up so that it's easier in the shearing process our second time. Now that we have blown out all the brightening shampoo, the next step is we take a pocket brush and we brush all of this wool that's existing in a downward position, from the top of his blade all the way to his dock and down his side. At that point, we'll come back in and shear this sheep more at an angle, picking up any excess wool that we might have left and taking all the lines out of our shear job. Once you have completed these steps in the shearing process, your sheep should have a smoother, fresher look when going to the show ring. Our next step is going to be clipping out the legs and moving on to shearing the head.
Let's connect. Follow us on social and visit thewinnersbrand.com.